to Breakfast with Dr. J. Hope you had a fantastic week, and we've certainly had a fantastic week at the Impact Training and the National Sales Academy and the Sales Authority Club. We've had some fantastic results over the last 4-6 weeks, really. People have just rallied forward, and it's been really inspiring. So when you come on, please say hello. It is breakfast, so have a cuppa, ready to rock and roll. I'll have a sip while we wait for a few people to pop on. I love my 7:30 cuppa. So when you do come on, say hi in the chat or in the comments so I can see who's there. Always nice to see who's popped on in the wee hours. I wanted to cover something today that has popped up over the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks. I thought I'd share with you some ways to easily create a positive mindset, especially how everything is all changing again, and we do like certainty, don't we? One of the qualities in our life, we like to have certainty. But when things keep changing and we don't know what's going to happen, it sometimes can be a little bit, how can we say, scary. So I'm going to show you some stuff that has worked for me and lots of other people, and we want to make sure we kick some goals. And always good to share the good stuff, so get your trusty pen out. Don't just go in here, because when we write it, it makes it real. Hey Scotty, how you going? Hope everything's going great, mate. I'm sure you're going to be chafing at the bit shortly. I'm sure we'll have a chin wag on the phone real soon, mate. And Danielle, how you going? Good morning, how you going? Thanks for joining me. And going to have a bit won't be long today, but it'll be a quickie, but it'll be a goodie. So get your pen out, and we can I'll put some strategies down and some things you can put into place. The word mindset comes up quite regularly, doesn't it? What's their mindset like? I want to change my mindset, all these sorts of things. However, it's easy to say but harder to do unless you have some simple tools or strategies that work. I found that mindset is really critical if you want to have an outcome. You can have the best car in the world, but if you don't have petrol in it, it won't go anywhere. And this thing in here makes us do things. And what we think about most, we become. So what are we putting in here that's creating the outcomes that are necessary? Who are the people you are surrounding yourself with on a regular basis? And we are multiples of the people that influence us most. So first thing I want you to write down is, who is influencing me? And if those people are negative and having a tough time of it, support them. But find some people that are going to plug in for you, so you can plug into them. There's a transferring of energy, so to speak. So write down who are the 3 people that influence you most, and are they in a positive mindset or are they in a negative mindset? They'll maybe take your energy, or who are the people you could plug into that are positive and getting outcomes? One thing that I've actually noticed over the last, say, 6 to 12 months is there's been a pattern. And the people that are achieving more do more. Yeah. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm really busy. But I'm saying do more of the things that work. And the first thing I'm going to say is, what are you learning? What are you continually learning to raise the bar? Well, learning is a waste of time unless we actually go into the practice, the drill, rehearse, and then the utilization and implementation. So when we learn things, sometimes we learn, just put it in a head and we then utilize it. My recommendation is you write this down. Write some things down. People read lots of books on a regular basis, don't they? They said, I read a great book, Doc. I said, oh, that's terrific. That's terrific. How many times did you read it? Because you know that repetition is the mother of learning and skill. And the way I do things, and I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's what works for me, is when I learn something and I read it or listen to it more so these days, I'll listen to it again and write down what I'm going to implement. It's no good learning something at a training or in a book and you're not implementing it. That just becomes entertainment. If it's going to be something you want to strategize for personal development or maybe professional activity, write down what you're going to do. Please write down the word doing. The doing is actually implementing the things that you learn. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. Because when we learn something, we can get excited about implementing it. But if you learn something and don't do it and you want to procrastinate to have perfection paralysis, you're not going to move forward. Hey there, Gab. How you going, my friend? Good to see you. Hello, Pele. Oh, my goodness. Great to talk to you the other day, my friend. You all got all the buddies. Thanks for joining me, for having a cuppa together. Hope you're having a cup of tea or coffee together. We're talking about mindset. Guys, here are a couple of things that I'd like you to write down. Once you've actually learned it, you need to have a plan. What is your plan of execution? If you want to actually have a positive mindset, if it's all in your head and you try to use memory, it doesn't work. We miss things out. Have a plan, write it down. Some people like to type it. I would recommend write it. All good. Write it down. If you write things down, it becomes real. When it's written, it's real. We've always said that for 100 years. You might want to type it and print it. I don't mind, whatever it is, but write it down. Have a plan to execute. Execute is doing, the word doing. And when you actually write it down and so forth, you want to make sure that you write down what you want as the result. What is the outcome? There's no good having a plan to execute if you have not got measurable outcomes. Now, I'm talking about sales, but also personally. If you're going to do something, you're going to measure the lawn. You're going to mow the lawn. You go, well, what's measurable about that? Well, it's going to look terrific. It's going to make me feel great. That's a measurable component. I'm going to go out with the family. How can you measure that? Well, you got it done and you made them happy. What's the outcome? And that's how you measure it. If you don't have a measurable outcome, why would you do it again? So many people have a great plan to go into execution, but they don't have anything that's measurable. If you don't measure it, you can't actually acknowledge, or you can't actually try to improve. Please write this down. This is quite critical for today. A plan that's executed, that has an outcome that is measurable, becomes an activity that you will do again. And if it's a positive outcome, write it down. Hi, Katrina. My goodness. Lovely to see all my friends back again today. Thanks for joining me. It's lovely to see you all. Oh, my goodness. Superstars, every one of you. Gee whiz. Talking about mindset, Katrina. So write this stuff down, and especially, and I'm not talking if it's a failure, I want you to write down what you did right. Salespeople beat themselves up far too many times. Oh, I didn't do this, I didn't get that. But what did you do right? Write it down. And here's another strategy. Write this down. If you're in sales, if you're doing a skill thing that's going to create an outcome, and let's say phone calls, it's emails you're going to do, talk to people. When you're finished for the day, here's a recommendation. Do 3 more. It's called the 3 more strategy. I'm sure many of you do it. So if you're making, a X amount of contacts for the day and you just got down to your minimum or what you wanted to achieve, before you wrap it up for the day, you say, look what I've got. Just do 3 more. 3 more calls, 3 more contacts, 3 more emails, 3 more thank you notes, 3 more. It's called the 3 more strategy. Let me just tell you what this does. It's awesome. It actually lets you know you overachieved. Yeah, you did more. Now, that's a measurable outcome. Now, sure, you might not have made enough sales for the day or made it in, but guess what? You've achieved some things, and they're the things I'm going to get you to write down. Not what you didn't do, what you did do that was positive. You want to create a positive mindset for you and your team. These are the things that work. Now, the next thing I want to cover with you is part of journaling. And, we do a training in journaling and so forth, and I know lots of you probably do this. But when you actually have something that goes right, my recommendation is outside of journaling, tell somebody that cares. If you've had a good day and you had a plan and you've executed and you got a result, tell somebody. Tell it. Speak it. On the phone. On a Zoom. Tell somebody. But tell somebody that cares. They say, hey, tell me more. Just need 1. Don't need 10. But tell somebody. You want to create a positive mindset? Tell somebody about your plan that you executed and the result and the things that you achieved. Doesn't have to be a long call, but do it regularly. Now, I'm not saying every day for this activity, but do it. Talk about the stuff that you did. And that's going to create, I liked saying that. And they celebrated with you a little bit and said, well done. And then ask them what they did, obviously. So you're not just talking about yourself. This is a strategy that a lot of people don't do. They say, oh, that's a good idea, Doc, but they don't do it. This is something that should be part of your ritual on a day-to-day basis, or when those things take place. Number one. Next thing is, my recommendation is at the end of every day, take about 10 to 15 minutes for you. To create a positive mindset, I want you to acknowledge, it's called the acknowledgement strategy. Acknowledge what you've done. Now, in this journal or in this beautiful book, it's a nice book, it's not a diary, it's a journal. You write down what was the positives of the day. I did this, I felt this, I got this done, I achieved that. All the things that you planned and executed and got a measurable outcome. That was measurable from joy, measurable to feeling satisfaction, or measurable with a number. Write it down, just bullets. But write it down. I believe writing it is better than just typing it because it actually creates a neural pathway. So write it down. And this is the discipline. And the word discipline comes into this. If you want a positive mindset, write it down every day. I challenged myself many, many years ago when I was told how to do this by someone far cleverer than me. And I failed a couple of times. But now religiously, I will write down the things that were positive that happened in work and at play every day. And you know what? I enjoy it. It's what I did. It was a whole day of my life that I'll never get back. Write down the good stuff. Now, let me just give you a little heads up here. The reason we do this is to make sure that you're feeling good right now. And it also makes sure that you can feel good later. By writing this stuff down, the stuff that you did well, and then you actually can write a few other things in journaling what you're looking forward to tomorrow at work and at play. I mean, one thing you learned, but that's in journaling. You just put the book down, and I also like to write down some things I'm grateful for. I used to write 20, now I write 10. But 10 for me is enough. So here it is, your day. Write down what you did. Just write it down. Just bullets. Doesn't have to be a story. And then write down a few things you're grateful for. Then put the book down, have a plan for tomorrow, and go to bed. What this does, it actually puts in, I achieved, I executed, and I got stuff done. So put your mind into a positive mindset. It doesn't say, what didn't I do? Or, what have I got to do tomorrow? It's all of a sudden, let's acknowledge the day. Because it's a day of your life. And your life's important. But remember, yesterday doesn't matter. It's right now that matters. But we have to reflect on what we've done, especially if it's positive. That's why you don't write the negatives, because we always have times that, things don't work out perfectly. But what was good about it? And then always write down some things you're looking forward to at work and at play. I'd recommend too. Now, the next part of this is quite important. As you progress throughout your weeks and so forth, if you're having a bad day, you can always go back and flick through back a few pages or to another year and open up your book, and guess what? What's sitting in front of you? All the good stuff that happened to you a few days ago. You see what you achieved. Things you were looking forward to. And guess what? Your brain said, that was great. I did it before, I can do it again. It puts you into a positive mindset. And if you do it before you go to bed, it makes sure that your subconscious is thinking about good stuff. It's not hard, is it? But if you actually do these types of things, it makes an enormous difference to actually how your mindset is ready. You've got to prepare your head. You've got to prepare for things. And if you don't prepare your mindset and don't do the things that are necessary, you're not going to get the outcome. It's not going to be positive and moving forward. Now, not going to have positive moving forward days every day. But, there's a big but, you can have more positive and strong ones by doing this exercise. And if you have consistency, write this down. Consistency gets a reward. If you have a consistent activity that you're doing and you're getting it done regularly and you're getting that outcome, remember, a goal and an execution without a measurable outcome is not something that's going to inspire. But if you have consistency with yourself, reward yourself. When was the last time you said, well done, I had major consistency? Reward yourself. And make sure you know what that reward is. The constant reminder of you doing well is going to perpetuate you wanting to do more. I really recommend that you do this, because this is for you. But now, for you, those of you that run teams, for those that have a group of people that are, in a circle, it's always, you're always trying to get the team members to do better. Might be even your boss to do better. Or maybe you want to make sure that if you want to have a positive mindset about them, write down the things that they did well. Yeah, they did this well. They did that well. And guess what happens? You then have a positive mindset towards that person. You might just have a little book on that person. What did they do great? Not what they didn't do or what they didn't achieve, but what did they do great? So look for the good things, and guess what? Here's something for team leaders. Positive reinforcement of effort goes a long way, and reward consistency. So if you're doing this for yourself, this is great, good for your positive mindset and give you the drive. But also, if you're a team leader and you want to drive your team members and you want to write it down. Now, if you're not a team leader and you just want to get into a much better mindset about your team, you do the same thing. What did they do that was great, that helped me, that helped the team? And guess what? What you think about most and what you write about most, you become. Joey, how you going? Good to see you. Oh my goodness. All my friends are here. We're like having a party. So if you've got team members and you're struggling with sometimes, oh, they're always doing this and there's always a negative. Well, guess what? There's always something positive. Write it down. But let's go back to us. At the end of every day, you want to make sure that whatever that plan is, you actually write it down. And it's always the positive. You go back and your subconscious will take over. You'll wake up a lot more invigorated. Now do it for a week. Now this is the word, the D word, the discipline. Do this for a week. And see the shift in your mindset. You wake up, oh, I did well yesterday. I have a plan to execute and have measurable outcomes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2 things at work today and 2 things at play when I'm done. And then you do the discipline just to write it down, to reflect on your day, because your day matters. It's not about the bad stuff. It's not about the things that didn't happen. Remember, you write down the good stuff. And if you want to do it for a team member or your boss or whatever the case may be, you'd have a separate sheet or a book for them. Now, the last little thing that I have mentioned just a couple of times is writing down things you're grateful for. It's an old thing that's been done for 100 years, and it's a great thing. Because we are living in a wonderful country, and you know what? There's lots of things that we can be grateful for, but we can get bogged down into the things that are negative and are not working. But write down, just do 10 things that you're grateful for. And guess what? You actually will attract things to be grateful for more often. So the scenario is, remind yourself of what you've done throughout the day that's been positive. Always do it at the end of the day, so it creates a mindset that your subconscious can create so you can push forward. We all have bad days, but let me tell you, when you have one of those bad days and you've been doing this for a little while, guess what? All you need to do is pull out one of the books or just flick back a week or 2 and read the good day. The things you were looking forward to at work and play, what you achieved, a measurable outcome. And guess what? You can't wait to look at another page and it puts you back. Tell someone that cares. Celebrate things that you do. Again, have a plan, execute, have an outcome, tell somebody, and have a chat. Now remember, acknowledge the effort that you do, but reward consistency. And I can assure you that the repetition will create the opportunity. It doesn't take long. Do it for 3 days and kick some goals. Remember the word do that we started with, and the 3 more principle, that strategy of 3 more. So in summary, guys, this trusty pen that we take for granted can be incredibly powerful. Remember, a day in your life is important. And I think we have to think about the importance of us and the things that we do to acknowledge ourselves as well as everybody else. So write down the positive stuff. Tell someone that cares. Before you go to bed, write down the good stuff. Maybe a couple of things you're looking forward to at work and play. And write down 10 things that you're grateful for. Put it down, go to bed. And I heard something from Jeff Fennick just this week. And he said, when he used to do his training and so forth, and he went into a competition, a fight or whatever, and sometimes he wouldn't win. But he won more often. But if he did his training and all the other things, he said the one thing that held him in good stead, and please take note here, I thought it was quite inspiring. If you did your very best, oh yes, if you did your very best, and you didn't get that outcome that you wanted, but you did your very best, he said, wow, I did my very best and I failed, but I know I can go to sleep and rest easy. Sure, I didn't win, but I did my very best. And all I have to do is learn new ways and get better. He said he could always go to bed if he lost his title or whatever the case would be, if he did his very best, and he can get up satisfied because you did what you could do. And then you can then plan and learn and execute and to do better. All right, gang. I hope you put some of these things into practice. In these uncertain times and so forth, a bit of certainty that the things you're going to do in a thing called a routine do make a difference. Have the discipline to test yourself to see if you can do this for 7 days. And then 14. Look, I actually made the commitment to myself many years ago to do it for 365 days. I got to 221 and I failed because I forgot to take my book, and I didn't even write it on paper, lazy monster. So I started again. I failed again. I think it was only about a month. But the disappointment in actually letting myself down drove me to actually have a lovely book that will look the same, and I do it every day. Looks after this as well as looking after the body. It's all good learning. But remember, write it down, acknowledge what you've done on a day-to-day basis, create a positive mindset for yourself, do 3 more, and I assure you, things will change. And if you're already super duper positive, it'll just sharpen your action. You'll be able to kick some goals. All right. Hope you've had a great week. Now, we always wrap this up, and I've got to have my sip of my cuppa. I love my cuppa in the morning at 7:30. I do make a good cuppa, as I keep telling you. Now, if you've got any questions, always like to wrap up with a few questions. It doesn't have to be on topic today, but if you've got any questions, please pop it in the comments. It takes about 7 seconds delay. So if you've got a question or two, happy to answer. It could be out of the left field, doesn't matter. So if you've got any questions, happy to answer it. If not, make sure you have a great weekend and maybe start writing this stuff down every day. Getting that plan, executing it, having a measurable outcome, and when you're doing a task, do 3 more. Just 3 more calls, just 3 more contacts, just 3 more things, 3 more emails, and guess what? Write down the good stuff that you achieved. That was measurable. Tell someone it cares, and have the discipline to do it regularly. I'm Dr. J. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a wonderful week. Let's make sure June's a cracker, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.